Hey everyone, thanks for checking out those etudes. We're just going to dive right into it. Let's talk about the lyrical first. Now, the lyrical etude, one of the hardest parts about it is that the entire thing is written piano, so you want to be able to stay at a soft dynamic but still sound very nice, still sound very artistic, and do things with your phrases. Don't just sit at a piano, but make sure that you are also being expressive throughout that entire piano. Along with being quiet, you also want to make sure that we really hear the grace notes the couple times that they happen. Make sure you're putting the emphasis on the grace note and that it falls into the actual thicker written note and that everything sounds nice and even in that way. And then the last challenge that I found with this is actually the fact that they want it so quick that it's slightly uncomfortable, especially with the breathing aspect of things. So really just think about where you want to breathe, make sure it's planned out. If there are breath marks in the piece of paper, make sure you're breathing there. If you have to add extra ones, that's okay. Try to stay away from that if you can. But if you have to add ones, make sure that they are in good artistic placements. Last thing I want to add also is with the rallentando at the end, make sure that you're not doing it too much, too fast. If you want to go slower than I did, that's just fine, but make sure that it's a nice even rallentando and make sure that the very last quarter note lasts for one full beat from what your new kind of established tempo is. So let's move on to the technical. With the technical, the most difficult thing is the terrace dynamics. It's loud, then quiet, then loud. There's not much going on there, so you want to make sure that you really emphasize when you have that switch over from loud to soft or soft to loud. Other things we want to watch out for are making sure that our rhythms are exactly the way they're supposed to be. Be careful, a couple measures before it goes to piano, the rhythm changes up a little bit, so you want to make sure that you catch that little trap. And also make sure that things like dotted quarter tied to an eighth get exactly the right amount of length. You want to make sure that you're keeping a really good tempo throughout this entire thing. Now I know with technical etudes, a lot of you like to go faster, and that's okay, but I actually would suggest staying at the quarter note equals 88 or dotted quarter note equals 88. They ask for that for a reason, and so I would stick to what Florida says they want. And before you even ask the question, yes, I'm double tonguing those things. I am not single tonguing. I found it to be really heavy way down. It actually would slow me down if I tried to single tongue any of those 16ths. The bum tigga tigga dum tigga tigga dum tigga tigga dum tigga tigga dum. So I practiced that really slow to make sure I could get it under my fingers and my tongue at the same time and line those up. So I do actually suggest double tonguing any of the 16th notes that are there on the bottom half of the etude. Also, make sure that you're not clipping any notes, especially the very last note of any phrases or the very last note of the piece. You don't want to bump, 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 and just have that hang there. You want it to be an artistic ending. No matter what it's going into, you want to make sure that the end of any phrases or anything before rest actually makes sense. But yeah, guys, those are a few of my tips for these etudes for this Florida All-State audition. What are some things getting in your way, or what are some things you found that have helped you with these etudes? Let us know in the comments down below. If you would, remember to hit that like button and the subscribe button to get more of these videos straight to you. But until next time, guys, I'm Aaron Campbell reminding you to be happy, but never satisfied.